With all due respect, welcome back. I do have Nandi Senator Samson Cherugei and former Senator and political economist on the other side, Billow Kerrow. Now, gentlemen, before we take the break, let's pick up from what Cherugei, you said just before the break that the whole point of public participation is people give you views, but not even amending a comma or a full stop on it. So why are we even talking? Why are we even here tonight?
Under the Constitution, under Article 118, it gives public participation to Parliament. It doesn't mean that when we pass this omnibus finance bill, because it touches many other legislation, it doesn't mean that the public participation or the information that the public has shared with Parliament cannot be used. It's still useful. But what we are saying is that it is still useful. I have said before, as the chair of JLAC, there are many situations that we have started considering bills and even motions. But at that point, we might not find it convenient to use that information at that point. And most of these are interest groups, like the NGOs, non-governmental, ordinary Kenyans, and they give presentations. These laws that we are trying to amend, be it the Housing Act, be it the VAT Act, and many others, will always be enriched by that conversation. And that is why I'm saying, at this point, looking at the timeline of this bill, looking at the document, and looking where the government is we are, when you are running government, you need to be deliberate in terms of bringing your issue. Because what is happening in this country, the president's detractors want the president to abandon the manifesto and the plan that he has. By the way, media, and I don't know to say this, is you have never highlighted the successes of this government. When this finance bill came up, I have seen even the media have taken the role of the opposition against the government. And
exactly how? Exactly how? I cannot allow you to walk away with that.
We can have, also media, you should allow us to sometimes criticize you because you sometimes criticize us. Because I saw a headline, the price of unga and sugar to go up. I have never seen a headline that the success story of the Hustler Fund.
But is that a lie?
No. Of course, that's why we can argue about the unga and sugar, because there are many factors that contribute to it. If you ask me as a farmer, you should have gone, and before writing that headline, for example, you should have said farmers were provided with subsidized fertilizer. You remember we were with you last year before elections, and you were asking me, in Nandi, you are buying 7,000 shillings of fertilizer. And at that time, you were asking me, what is the cost of food security going into the future?
We can go to the details. We can go to the details of what exactly affects UNGA, okay? Including the fuel levy and everything else. So removing one thing on one hand and putting 6 on the other hand does not exactly make the price of food. So I don't want to go that route because you're distracting us now.
No, I'm not distracting. I'm building my because you asked me what is the role of public participation in a parliamentary process. And I'm just saying it sometimes enriches. There are things that the Committee of Finance led by the Molo Member of Parliament, Kuria Kimani, will look at. Some of those proposals, I have sat in Parliament, Senator has sat, sometimes some of these people bring you a proposal that might not be related with what you are discussing, but can enrich another section of the law. So what I'm just saying is that looking at the country, because we are in leadership, when you lead, you lead. You don't allow others to come and lead you and take you away from and that is why we are saying this finance. I agree with the Senator, my brother here, that we need to look at the expenses. We need to look at the government wastages. I agree, because sometimes and you
why is that not an urgent thing?
It is urgent. By the way, are you aware that we are running a handshake budget? Are you aware this is not the budget of William Ruto?
No, hang on.
The first budget of William Ruto is this 2023-2024. When you will come and ask me, then I can answer, because now you will need to go back to Parliament, get supplementary, reorganize the budget.
Senator.
I'm trying to answer on the wastage.
No. You're not answering the wastage.
I'm answering.
You're being clever. Why is the president appointing over 50 CSs if he's really concerned about expenses?
But there are many factors before appointments are made.
That's what a wastage.
It's not the wastage. For example, don't leave that one. You are now leaving public to judge. Let's assist the public before Senator comes in. For example, there are how many CSs? There are 22. the PSS, the CSS, sorry, then there are regions that, you know, we have 44 tribes. If you are to give somebody one CS, it's only 22 tribes. So what are we adjusting in as much as you look at the economic value vis-a-vis what the Constitution demands, like regional balance, ethnicity, religion, where you come from, and that is sometimes you use affirmative action. And some of the seats that you can use for affirmative action are some of the senior appointments of CS, but I don't want us to go because it's a prejudice, it's a sub judice matter that is before the court.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the question, you know, the public participation in government generally, not only on this finance bill, but in general has been a PR exercise, I think, on many issues. I mean, we've done it, I've been involved, particularly when it involves treasury, the national treasury. Because the national treasury, you know, the government comes with one mindset that this is what we want to raise. This is our objective. These are our policy, you know, interventions we want to do, and even when as Parliament, we discuss those, you know, policy documents of Treasury, and we come with recommendations, and we send to Treasury. You know, quite often they ignore them. But I think the issue before this country is every government, you know, Mark, every government in the world submits, you know, this kind of things, and they may not be popular. But I think the people who ought to listen and who are there because of that particular responsibility are the members of Parliament. So I think members of Parliament should pay more attention to the ground. What is the ground saying, where you come from, where, you know, the people. Forget about the other noises if you want, you know, the other special interest groups or even the political, the other opposition. But I think you need to look at the people who elected you. What are they saying? So when you get to a situation where elected representatives ignore the cries and the views of the ones who elected them, then you know there is a problem. And I think you cannot say in this bill there is absolutely nothing harmful to the people of Kenya, and therefore I want to pass it without a comma as an elected representative. I think there must be, I mean, even if they are not all, you can say, look, for my people, and remember what happened in the US a couple of years ago when they wanted to pass that infrastructure bill of $1 trillion. One senator said it's going to affect my people, and remember McCarthy, he said I am not going to, and it got stuck until, you know, weeks later he had to be convinced, and he said the reason is because the moment you approve this $1 trillion infrastructure bill, it's going to lead to more taxes because you need more revenue, and I don't want, and my constituency. So, and he looked at his own people, he didn't look at the party, and he stood up to the party and said, no, I'm not going to pass this thing. So I think in the bill, I am sure you can find, every member of Parliament can find something that will affect his or her people that he can say, no, at least this one I want it amended.
How do you answer the question